It's time for fun, learning, commentary, laughs, and more. Care of the most diverse group in the genealogy and family history world. Welcome to BlackProGen Live with your hosts, Nika and True, and the baddest panel in these pedigree streets. Angela, James, Linda, Alex, Ellen, Tony, Shelly, Theresa, Bernice, Felicia, Willie, Renata, and Tasia. It's BlackProGen Live, genealogy, family history research with flavor. You know, it is actually a major feat taking place tonight. What is the cause for the occasion? Well, goodness gracious, it could be a number of things. It could be, well, it's November 19th. It's towards the end of the year. Maybe you've already gotten all of your holiday supplies for Thanksgiving coming up. But actually, tonight's episode of BlackProGen Live is a super duper special one. Why? Well, because it is the 100th episode of BlackProGen Live. Can you absolutely believe it? We cannot. We are holding all of ourselves together currently because, I mean, goodness, this is a major feat. So we want to thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your evening to be a part of BlackProGen Live. In this special, we'll go behind the scenes on all things BlackProGen Live, from the origins of the panelists to how we get the show to you. And we'll discuss our thoughts on the journey we've taken over the last 5 years and more. So thank you for joining us for episode 100, 2000, party over with. Sorry, out of time. I'm going to hit Prince for that for a second. Anywho, we can celebrate like it's 1999, even though it's 2019. All right. So if you have a question or comment, join the conversation now. Participate in the live chat taking place on YouTube to the top right hand of the screen if you're watching on a computer, and at the bottom of the YouTube app on your mobile device. Also, feel free to weigh in on Twitter by tweeting us at BlackProGen or using the hashtag BlackProGen. Of course, we are active on social media outside of when the show takes place. So be sure to check us out on Facebook as well as on Twitter. We share news, we share tips, tricks, all sorts of things when the show is not happening. If you have ever been like, man, I can't believe I missed that episode, I need reminders. Well, here is your reminder to set reminders. All you need to do is head to my YouTube channel and click subscribe. You'll get a reminder each and every time we go live or anytime I upload something new. All right, we've got a super special surprise for you guys. And I kind of gave you a little bit of a just a tiny bit of a treat. I let you see it a little bit, but you know, I don't want you to get all of it yet because it's a lot. Because normally we only have like maybe 3-4 people on the panel at a time. Normally we do, right? That's usually it's about par for the course. But tonight I want to show you the Hollywood squares of BlackProGen Live, the Brady Bunch Punnett squares of BlackProGen Live. Look at these amazingly beautiful people, these amazingly gorgeous Tupac conjuring up spirits that we have in the house tonight. I'm unmuting everybody because y'all are dying laughing. That's all right. There are a million of us on the panel tonight, you guys. And it's because it's a celebration. It's a celebrate. Okay. We've got the libations have been poured at my house. I don't know about anybody else. Hey, got you in the house. Okay. Because we are celebrating. Our Mammies is in the chat room. She says a family reunion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Tupac has showed up. We love it. I
want his autograph.
That is an inside joke. Poor Alex will have to explain when I introduce him. But what is going on, y'all? We have a packed house tonight, and this is not everybody who's going to be joining us on the panel. But thank you guys so much for coming out, especially all the panelists. I don't even know where to start because we normally don't have this many people on the panel. Usually I go to the East Coast and then I wind down. Alex, you know what? You go first.
Good evening, everybody. So I have to be the brunt of the show today and get called Tupac all night simply for a turtleneck, and I'd missed the references. So being the youngest on the panel today, saying good evening to all you guys. Glad to be 100 episodes in.
All right, how's the weather there in Oakland?
It's raining tomorrow, but it's actually pretty nice out here. It's pretty nice out here in the Bay.
All right. Somebody said the superheroes are all together in one spot. Hey, I hope we don't start disintegrating like they did in Infinity War. Right? You've seen Infinity War. It makes perfect sense. You know, since we're getting the men out of the way, we've got a special guest. Shannon Christmas is in the house looking all bright and like he is about to perform a song for us. And I love it. Shannon, how are you?
Thank you ever so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
All right. How you been?
Oh, I've been very busy and quite well. How about you?
I've been doing great. You see, I've confetti just literally suspended in air, like not moving. That took a lot of work, you guys. I don't know if you realize that.
I bet.
Oh my gosh. Already you can tell this is going to be ridiculous tonight. All right. Since we're going through all the resident Y chromosomes, James R. Morgan III, how are you?
I am blessed, I am Black, and I am bold. I'm happy to be here for BlackProGen's 100th anniversary episode. I'm just thrilled. I think I can safely say out of all the men that have been on this episode, I've probably been on here the most. So I'm very, very honored and privileged. I do want to send a special shout out to the Africana Studies Department at my alma mater, Howard University. I had to rush from there to here because anniversary. I love always celebration. And by the way, yes, I am Iron Man.
He has declared himself Iron Man. Okay. I don't quite know. Shelly, what's your response to that?
May the force be with you, Iron Man.
Wrong. That's the wrong movie.
That's the wrong one.
No, it's not. It's the better one.
I'll take that.
Oh my gosh.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm Iron Man, but I am Wakandan on my mother's side though.
Well, we'll take Wakanda too, man.
There you go. There you go.
My goodness. Auntie Shelly, what's going on?
Nothing much. Glad to be here. 100 episodes. Do y'all realize this started in 2014? 2014. It's 2019. This is 5 years of work and fun. Glad to be here with all my fellow Genie buddies.
Absolutely. All right. The other person who might get movies confused but knows cultural references.
I
couldn't even set it up because you messed it up. Auntie Angela, I'm sorry. She messed up your intro.
Story of my life. What can I say? Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Greetings from certainly a chilly East Coast, but we're doing fine here. And congratulations to BlackProGen. Look at this community. Look at these folks. And it has been 5 years. I can believe that because I know I've been involved in projects that just zip by too. And this is amazing. And I think BlackProGen has a presence in the genealogy community. And hey, just delighted to be here.
All right. Since we're getting the aunties out of the way, Bernice, that means you got to bring up the rear now.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. It's hard to believe this is the 100th episode. Time really has flown by. And of course, you know, all of you all are aging except me. Right?
It's cold.
That's cool.
That's cold because it's true.
It's true. Come on now.
Bernice is literally Cicely Tyson on the panel. Like, if you
Literally.
guys notice that, she really
She does not age.
You're fabulous.
does not age. Does not age. Oh
Does
my
not
God.
age. She's fabulous.
Definitely not. Mm-mm.
Definitely not. Okay, well, sliding a bit south of Bernice, we'll go to our resident redhead, or maybe it's purple. I'm not quite sure this time. You know, I always read colors wrong. What is going on, Tony Carrier?
Happy 100th, everybody. Tony Carrier from the Center for Family History at the International African American Museum in Charleston.
All right, she is in the house. Did I get the color wrong?
It's reddish purple.
Okay. So I was sort of both right.
It's violet.
Okay. It's violet. It's violet. All right, we're gonna slide back up north a little bit to the newest grandmother of the crew. Hi, that's not you, Linda, because the baby has not been born yet.
I guess that's me. Hi, everybody. It's Renata Yarbrough Sanders here in Newport News, Virginia. And yes, I have her all ready to show to you. There's my Shiloh. She was born, she'll be 2 weeks old tomorrow. So thank you all for your prayers for her and for my daughter. And I'm excited to be here celebrating our 100th episode.
And you know what's funny? I attributed the baby's birth to the fact that we said that light that was coming and shining down on Renata's head was going to trigger the birth, and the baby was born right after that. So apparently, Linda, you need a light from up top that is going to shine on your head for the baby to come. All right, so let's see.
Lights over here.
James, be quiet. Whatever. He said, don't shine any lights over here. Oh, my Lord. I cannot with you guys. All right. Our next soon to be grandmother. How many weeks do we have now?
We're at 37 weeks.
Oh, boy.
Mommy's
Oh,
bag
boy.
is already packed. Baby's bag is already packed. And grandma is ready. I'm Linda Sims. Good evening, everybody, from Mississippi Rooted, and welcome to our 100th episode. And yes, I am an excited granny to be.
All right.
Linda, both of mine waited an extra week, so just be prepared.
No, we can't be waiting an extra week.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, my Lord. She said, no, we cannot be waiting an extra week. Oh, my goodness. All right. So that leaves a few people uptown by the boogie down. Our girl, Theresa Vega. How are you?
I am fine. Happy 100 BPG. Representing.
All right. Tasia, what's going on, girl? Hey, you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Just happy to be here. 100th episode. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. All right. And
Lord.
Chew-Ann.
We made it.
We survived. The enemy came in.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? There's a reason why I started singing that, because I had a post on Facebook about like what the best gospel song is. And there are certain people who were like saying that they couldn't pick the best. Like Andre Farrell was like, how dare you make me pick less than 5, right?
Yes.
That did not make it on the list. I don't know why. I mean, that's like a very well-known.
That's what I've been feeling like all week, but congratulations, BlackProGen, 100 episodes, 5 years. I think this is like almost the longest commitment of my life.
Married for 20 plus years, Lord Jesus.
I know, but y'all have put that 20 into 5. But I am so proud of everybody here and our viewers. I always feel like they are who make us who we are. So a lot of this goes out to them. This is for them. Nika, we're here.
All right, chat room. You guys are cracking. I see baby bottles in the chat room. I see, yeah, James, you better hide your light now. There's baby bottles in there. Don't go in the chat room if you're concerned about the babies coming over to your house.
Guess what? Chat room that way. I'm going that way.
Oh my gosh. So yes, lots of people there. Darnisha Pickett, thanks for joining us. Christine Varner, Neff Hawthorne, we love you. Sasha Johnson, hello. Cheryl Singleton, C. Davis, 843 Gullah News. Denise Muhammad, what's going on? My friend in genealogy, Francisco Fall, I love you. I miss you so much. Muriel Roberts, Marion Kolowski, even cousin Russ is in the house. We got our companion sort of show, Dear Myrtle. Pat Richley, or Dear Myrtle, she sent her salutations. She had to go and be involved with some young people tonight for church, and so she sent us a really sweet message beforehand, just saying congratulations on everything, which was awesome. Trisha Blount, hello, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. So let's talk about how in the world did we even come up with this? Oh, I'm sorry, Shelly, you've got a church finger up.
I would like to introduce Dr. Ellen Fernando Sasso.
Oh, Lord Jesus, I forgot my Ellen.
And don't forget Carmen in the house as well.
I see how she just oh, my Lord.
There you go, Nika, you got it.
I got to do it all over again.
Yes,
Lord.
you do.
Ellen, how did I forget to go to Florida? It's because I had to keep all this confetti up in the air, you guys.
I know. It's hard.
What's going on, Ellen?
I'm so happy. It's 100. I can't believe it. I've been like part of this thing since early on. And I think I've made some progress since then. I can say that, but I'm really happy, really excited. You guys are really great. I love you all.
Oh, good. Yeah, we love you too. Carmen Condoleezza. Hey, boo. What's going on, Carmen?
Hi, everybody.
She's joining us from the Lou.
Yes, from St. Louis. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you came in perfect. Awesome. She's sliding on through as being part of our Punnett Squares tonight. Somebody's got to count all these squares. I can't even tell. Let me see how many people in here. 15 people on the panel tonight. Lord, today. Look at Shelly counting.
15.
We really should have. Yes, it's 15. Boy, oh boy, it's a lot of folks. Goodness gracious. Well, how did we start this? Let's go back there. How did BlackProGen even start, right? If we want to go back to the earliest episodes, which I watched and I was cackling hilariously. If you want a really good laugh, go back to like the first 5 to 10 episodes where we were trying to figure this whole thing out. Our lighting was horrible. Audio was bad, kids running in the background screaming. I mean, it was a time in the land, as my grandmother would say. That first episode, me and Angela held it down. So Angela holds the title as the first person on BlackProGen with me that was not True Lewis. Chu came on, I think the next one, or maybe the third one, and so did Ellen. But Angela was right there with me and you and Howard, who was the president of the African American Genealogical Society of Northern California. Wow. And we sat and we talked Finding Your Roots. That's what we talked about. And then the next episode, we talked about Finding Your Roots, but Sarah Cato from St. Louis came on and she was just a ball of fire.
Oh, she was.
And she totally was. And me and my big old pregnant face, all I see is my nose, as my mom would say, my nose spit all crossed my face, as my grandma, she don't say cross, she say crossed with a T. I have my nose spread all across my face. But Angela, talk about the seeds of BlackProGen, because you were part of that. Yes, you were.
Wow.
Stop trying to act like you weren't.
Well, it's very interesting because I think that, I was sort of, I guess in my mind, I was like, okay, Nika's doing something. Nika's going to dabble a little bit on YouTube. And it was still, to me, it wasn't a new platform in terms of being new on the scene. But it's like, okay, Nika, all right, I'll go along with it. I've been podcasting for 5 years at that point. And so I wasn't necessarily afraid of talking online or talking into mic. And I actually thought, to be honest, that, well, she's going to do this for, a few months. Okay, for a year. That's a good experiment. That's pretty good. And we are still here. And what can I say? Oh, my God. It's an experiment that worked. And plus, I never ever thought that personally I would meet people as a result of BlackProGen. And I'm surprised. I go to Denver, I go to California, I'm in Kentucky, I'm in other parts of the country, and people will come up and say, I never missed BlackProGen. Like, really? Oh, Nika was on to something. Oh my gosh. No, really. It's been a journey. It's been a tremendous journey. I'm just thrilled to still be riding the trail with you. But to have seen it from the beginning, and you're right, the lighting was off. I wasn't always sure which way to tilt the camera, you know. But it's like, wow, it's still working. And we've seen just different things in terms of, well, I guess more importantly, we've addressed things that we as genealogists in our small corner of the world see that other people perhaps don't see. And we've given others a platform that didn't have it before. And there's just so much more to it, and so much has grown out of it. And I think for some people, it's given a lot of people the nerve to try something similar. We have seen different shows that have now emerged online, and I mean, I really think that we have left our fingerprint, a strong one, on the genealogy community. And yeah, hey, something to celebrate. And I'm just honored to be a part of this community.
Well, and you are leaving out a major part of this story, Miss Angela.
And what am I leaving out?
Miss Angela.
Uh-oh.
The BlackProGen was really birthed as a response to a group of speakers who were denied the opportunity to speak at major conferences,
True.
national genealogy conferences. And what we did was we pulled our resources together to say, if you're going to submit to this conference, here are the talks, you know, that I've already submitted, so that we didn't step on each other's stuff, so that we all could get opportunity. And then we also needed a way to track how many proposals everyone was submitting, along with who was getting rejections and who was not. One of the other things that was birthed out of that was the Midwest African American Genealogy Institute. So that's why Maggie and BlackProGen will almost always be synonymous, because they were there to meet a need or an unaddressed need.
Well, I think that is correct. I think that what has happened is that we saw exclusion not as a reason to sit and complain, but we saw exclusion as the catalyst to create opportunity. And when we noticed that there were certain things that were happening on a national level, and we just said, you know what, there's a lot of talent among us. There's nothing to stop us from doing something creative. And yes, Maggie did grow out of that, and Maggie became an opportunity. Maggie is here to stay. And many of the people who are members of the faculty, who are part of the BlackProGen family as well. And it was something that you just simply, perhaps as a member of the generation, as a millennial, the generation that you're a part of, said, you know what, we can take this spirit from Maggie that started 8 years ago. Wait a minute, we can also take this to the social media arena as well. Let's do this. And you had the nerve to set it up. And some of us had the nerve to say, to take you up on it and say, oh, okay, we'll see how it goes. And like I said, sometimes the camera was a little shaky.
Honey, sometimes we needed to clean it off. We needed to put the dog away. Oh, child. But the thing that's so funny is, even though our optics were not necessarily the best, even though the sound was sometimes not good, the information that we provided everybody was still top notch. And I kid you not, you guys, people to this day are still commenting on those early episodes, even though we look at them and go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? So, and something that I would be remiss if we did not say is, especially with our start and even moving on to the platform that we're using now, we owe a huge debt or a huge thank you to Pat Richley, who we talked about earlier, because he had already kind of begun this journey with Google Hangouts through her show, Mondays with Mert, and with Wednesdays, Wacky Wednesday. And so anytime we had any kind of technological glitch or something was coming down the pike, that was something that we still have a very good relationship with her, to where if something is coming out or something's changing, we're letting the other person know, like, hey, this is happening, look out for this, look out for that. Cousin Russ as well, who's also a part of Dear Myrtle, Mondays with Mert and Wacky Wednesdays. We, technologically, me and True, like I said, I don't know why True ain't even trusted me. She came along like second or third episode, and she just was there. Like, it was like she was there. She was like, she was gonna hang on. It was like we were literally in a rodeo, and she just literally caught the tail of the mechanical bull and just held on.
I really was.
I don't know how you did, but she just did. And oh my Lord. So let's talk about why there is a need for BlackProGen Live, right? Because I mean, everything is so diverse and inclusive, right? Even our Pepsis and our drinks are diverse and inclusive, right? Elvin, your reaction is killing me. Why is there a need for it? That was Jesus telling you needed to answer, whoever's phone it was. Alex, you look like you're busting out the seams. What are you gonna say? You're quiet. Okay, you're quiet. Okay.
Oh, I would answer that question because there still is a need. One of the biggest things that I love about BlackProGen is that we're showing people that brick walls can be broken down and exactly how. We're providing hope. We're encouraging people that even though there's a brick wall and people say you can't get through 1870, all of us have broken through walls, and we're providing hope to people who may not have had it. When you go to other conferences, issues that we deal with on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, we're out there Jump Street showing people how to do it. And the larger genealogy community is just getting around to acknowledging us. And we now have 5 solid, you hear me out there? 100 episodes of how to do African-American genealogy. And for me, and I'll speak for my prima Ellen, the good thing that we've tried to add, the two of us, is the whole Caribbean aspect and integrating it a lot more and just showing how there's this connection between the Caribbean and continental US. So, and we're speaking to all the Boricua people, especially, because that's what we are, but bringing in the Caribbean aspect as well, and talking about the African diaspora. So it's not just continental US, but the diaspora in general.
And I would like to add that
go ahead, Renata.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. I just wanted to add that I think we're needed because we are hitting the nail on the head, so to speak, when it comes to fine-tuning the topics that are going to be of interest for people researching people of color, ancestors of color. So, many a time we may watch a webinar or go to a seminar and it has a broad topic like the Spanish-American War. I'm just pulling one out, but you'll sit through that hour or 90-minute workshop and never hear a word about the colored troops in the Spanish-American War, or the colored troops in the Civil War, whatever the topic may be. Whereas we're pinpointing those pieces of information that people researching ancestors of color are looking for. So I think that's why we're very necessary.
Yeah, I want to also bring up that this is one of those shows that appeals to the younger person. You look at so many genealogy conferences and you find people, and the demographics will show you these are much older people. But this is an opportunity for the younger African-American genealogists to get involved and to listen to their peers talk about doing research. Of course, we are diverse in age, but I still think that what we do is make it seem real for the young person. They can do it because we have people who are doing it and they're on this show. I mean, look at Willie, look at Alex. They're in college, but they're part of the panelists. And Tasha, I mean, I think that this is something that we have to look at as a strength, and that you are drawing young people to this show to learn how to do what we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, I was going to add a little bit of what Bernice was saying. We all bring a variety and a diversity to BlackProGen. Not only are we all across the United States, but we also have the young and we have the older. Not old, the older. And I want to clarify. And, I just think the variety of topics we covered, pretty much all of the states, states that we wouldn't think we had a presence in, we've covered those. We've shown people how to do their research. And then Ask Mariah, we have case studies that we've done. So that hasn't been done before.
And I just want to piggyback off of what Bernice and Linda said. For me, also, it's the fact that we're not just doing genealogy, but we're focused on family history and just history in general, all the way from local history to macro level history. And that's important because we're situating our ancestors within the time periods that they lived, and educating a lot of people. When Bernice talks about bringing young people in, I keep thinking of Watchmen and the Tulsa massacre, another example where some of our ancestors were there. And so the focus on the history, the family history especially, is very key. And it appeals to a lot of people who may not have realized how important these local events were to their ancestors.
Carmen?
Yeah, I think that.
Okay, hold on. Let Aunt Shelley go first. Then we'll hit James, and then I'll ask Carmen what I was going to ask her.
I'm following the line in the chat. I saw that. Anyway, not just getting folks past 1870 and through the Civil War. You guys, we've talked about the Revolutionary War as well. There were African Americans that fought right there, over 6,000 of them. So yes, the education piece is, to me, the most rewarding. If we all have brick walls, we're going to continue to have brick walls and challenges. But if we can help one person go one more generation, or find one more person, or learn of another piece of a documentation, we are doing our job and doing it right with flavor, as Theresa said.
I also want to add before we jump to Carmen, and we have learned from each other.
Yes.
There are things we don't know at all, and with this broad panel, we have learned from each other. I know I have been taking notes on some of the episodes.
Yeah, thank you, Linda, for taking what I was about to say. but yeah, I think that it's good to have people who are subject matter experts on different things, and of color, because I mean, you can be a subject matter expert, and it doesn't just have to apply to people of color or Black people or whatever. It can apply to different demographics. And it's good to see what other people are doing in their own work. One person that always sticks out, well, really all of you guys, for me, but I can tell you now, like, I've learned so much and been so fascinated by all the folks on here who have like Louisiana history, as well as the freedmen history in Oklahoma. And Angela and I have been corresponding about that a lot very recently. I have no, personal tie to those areas that I really am aware of to my own genealogy, but I find it fascinating and something that I love learning about and whatnot. And I like sitting at the feet of people who know what they're talking about, and who, now several of us have been published, got books out, Bernice, and it's really good to be able to have that core group of people that are doing their own work, but also to be able to rely on people and collaborate and whatnot. And that's for me personally, as a young professional, as a young genealogist or what have you, as well as to show, I think, our audience and others that, that there's value in going and digging up Cherokee Freedmen records. There's value in researching people of Creole of Creole ancestry in Louisiana. There's value in all these different Black institutions that we've talked about. And even I think one of the best, to me, one of my favorite subjects that we've just covered was actually more recently when we talked about Black people and people of color and being portrayed in the media, but keeping it still with a genealogy and a family history focus. You know, a lot of times people, that's a subject that people wouldn't really consider, but we're talking about it because why? Because it affects us and those who come after us. So I think it's important that we do that and we show people that there's a logical and systematic way in which you study these different topics, and that that there's value in studying them.
Carmen, you're not off the hook. How has your experience been with that as a viewer, right? Because you started off as a viewer and now you've been on the panel. You helped us with some research for the lynching episode. So just talk briefly about your experience.
Yeah, so I kind of dipped my toe into BlackProGen this year, but even though I have been watching for a long time. And I think for me, I was always in the chat room just because I'm someone who thinks that, especially for Black folks that do genealogy, that it's important to find your people. And I feel like y'all are like my people. So it's always fun for me when I get to be in the chat, making jokes about stuff or even chiming in with thoughts and opinions. And I know for me personally, I reference BlackProGen all the time. So like earlier this year, we planned a family reunion. And if the family reunion video has 5,000 views, like 4,000 of those are mine, because I know I watched it like 30 times, like 30 million times in a row, taking notes, and I have my dad watch it, like, so just so we can make sure we got all the ideas and recommendations. So so for me, like, I find a lot of value in everything. Like when I do my research and I just found out I got some folks in Louisiana. I've never known of anybody being in Texas or Louisiana. And my first stop is, okay, let me go on BlackProGen and see what they say, and I'll start from there. So whereas I used to maybe head to Ancestry or, something else, now I go straight to BlackProGen and see if there's an episode about it. And so I just have always found a lot of value in the topics. And it's been cool to be able to like kind of peek behind the curtain. And I think it also did lead to me wanting to attend Maggie. And so I get to meet, Angela and, Shelly and Shannon and, all that kind of stuff. So it's been great.
Awesome. Shannon, let's rope you in. You've been on one of the earlier episodes of BlackProGen. What can you say about that?
Overall, I just have to echo what others have said, that this has created a very special place, a very special space for the discussion of people of color genealogy and several topics that bridge the gap between generations and give us a lot of food for thought about how we move forward with all of the new technology that we have. And in particular, genetic genealogy is one of the major pieces of technology that has really changed the study of genealogy and family history. And I think that even within genetic genealogy, there have been a great number of topics that are of importance for people from various populations to focus on, but are not necessarily discussed at many of the types of events that they should be discussed at. And so this provided an opportunity to have those discussions and build something, build a wealth of knowledge that people could draw on, learn from, and teach others about.
All right. Thank you, Shannon, for those words. Alex, you wanted to chime in with something?
Yeah, I mean, to summarize some of what all of you guys said and kind of piggyback off of that, honestly, if not us, then who? In those after us, because these people on this panel, these are the people that for years have been not only just being experts and sitting on their knowledge. Y'all are the people that started the Freedmen's Project. y'all are the people that's been researching, benevolent societies, fraternities, sororities, and all of that. I see you, James. I see you, My True Roots. I see you, Tasia. And it's an honor to sit on this panel with you guys, bi-weekly. Honestly, it would be one thing if we were just those people that just was like, we're so crazy about genealogy. We just want to do this all day and not share it. But and let alone and also be stakeholders in getting this information out. But you guys did something really revolutionary by creating this show and always developing content that will push us all forward. So I'm in awe and appreciation to be in that legacy and to be a part of this.
All right. Well, we've got some stuff to show you all. Of course, we have to get into the origins of the panel because that's something that we would be remiss, right? Of course, everyone probably thinks that the panelists, this is all we do all day long. We've had no other lives outside of genealogy at all, right? Like that's it. Our lives are genealogy. And for the most part, they are. But many of us have lived other lives, and we continue to live other lives outside of genealogy research. So if you've been looking at our social channels for the last couple of days, you've actually seen some of these videos. If not, you're in for a surprise. So there's going to be a few that are coming up first, and then we're going to go directly live to James and to Renata for them to give their little spiel about who they are and what they do outside of genealogy research. So let me go ahead and get myself primed and ready. All right, here we go. So you want to know about Nika outside of genealogy? Well, let's see. There's a lot of dancing, a little stepping, but mostly dancing. I am a journalist by trade. I went to college, have a degree in journalism. And so that work, that degree really speaks to how I live my life now as an adult. I am a professional photographer. I specialize in weddings and high school seniors. Another thing that I do that I love is one of my pastimes is sewing. I love to make clothes. I don't make clothes for other people, but I make clothes for myself. I also grow my own food. That's something that I connect with Angela with every year. So if you're connected with me on social media, you'll see what I'm growing. If it's cauliflower or cabbage or something else, you'll see those things. I also love to travel. That's like my favorite thing in the world. If I'm not using my passport, if I'm not going to the airport, periodically I start to get the heebie-jeebies a little bit. A lot of students that are in my year will probably say, well, why are you happy that things are going and you're about to graduate? Well, I just kind of want to leave the school on a good note and make sure that the kids that follow after us have something to work with.
I was born in Manhattan. I lived in the South Bronx. I lived in Bronx, the Brooklyn. I lived in Manhattan. I'm a product of New York City. I've been told I have an accent. I was a communications technician for AT&T when I was 17 years old, the youngest person ever hired. I'm a graduate of Hunter College. I've taught people how to read. I did that program in Oakland. I've been an intern at the library at the Museum of Modern Art. I make artwork. I wasn't accepted for the art program at Hunter, so I went out and became a apprentice to an artist and also worked in an art museum to learn more. Smithsonian Fellow, and I've researched Mundillo. I've seen to explore a lot of the negative aspects of colonialism, and but I feel that there are things I need to explain, stuff that I've learned that I just want to pass on.
Hi y'all, Family Tree Girl here. I was a real estate broker. I was a parole officer, a family counselor for sexual abuse, child abuse, all of that, rape crisis. And then I come into, of course, the real estate world, HUD housing counselor for 25 years. That dealt from anywhere from buying your first home to foreclosure, rental evictions, housing discrimination. And I also even worked in helping people start their businesses, writing their business plans, consulting with them. So I've had an array. I was married to a military gentleman, so we traveled a lot and moved around. So that's why the jobs kind of changed around. And now as of December 2018, specifically genealogy, So I also serve on a lot of boards, and they still connect to housing as well as genealogy. So I hope that's enough information to give you an idea of my background.
That was the first set of people. Yay! This is an interesting group. I know. All right, we're gonna keep going in order. Let's see, James, you got your 2-minute spiel. Who in the world are you outside of the world of genealogy? Ready, set, and I'm gonna start my timer and go. James, you have to unmute yourself, sweetheart.
I am the son of the oldest son of James Jr. and Deborah Glover. I have a younger brother named Wade, who a lot of folks may or may not know. My brother played as a point guard for Stanford University basketball. I'm very proud of him, and being an older brother has always meant a lot to me. Professionally, outside of genealogy, there is a world outside genealogy in my life, very limited, but it does exist. I'm actually employed by the United States Department of State. And no, I don't know anything about the hearings that are going on right now. But I actually have been involved in public service for quite a long time. And a lot of folks don't know that I actually have experience in the entertainment business. My degree from Howard University actually is in mass communications and African-American history. I actually was darn near a double major. I took 4 years of Arabic while I was there as well. So a lot of folks don't know that either about me. When I was 16, I was selected as one of 100 students for the Governor's School of Public Issues of the state of New Jersey. I was one of 4 Black students selected for that. And in college, I really didn't think I was going to go into government or anything of that nature. I actually have interned at several major record labels, including Bad Boy Records, Atlantic Records. I did a lot of concert organizing and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of folks don't. Yeah, that's actually what I had more work experience doing that than anything. But long story short, I ended up working at the State Department, where I've been for the past 7 years, as well as doing other things. I do a lot of volunteer work with the African American Civil War Museum and Memorial as well, which I recently have been hired as a part-time consultant there as well for some upcoming exhibits that we have coming up in the new year. Other than that, I feel like you guys know everything about me, so it's kind of hard. I'm well traveled. I've been to Africa twice, to the Caribbean, out to the South Pacific as well. Other than that, I'm just honored to be on this show. One of the ways that I got here was because I actually had the idea to do something similar in this vein, and at that time in my life, I actually found BlackProGen. I'm not exactly sure what episode number I got was my first time on here, but when I found out about it, I just said, hey, why start something competing when I can try to collaborate? And so I reached out to Nika and just said, hey, I saw what you guys are doing. I think I can contribute. And I honestly did not think Nika would say yes, because I really didn't know her that well. But she was like, sure, come on. If you got something, come on, let's do it. And so, it's been BPG ever since, and we're here. So I'm just thankful and honored and humbled. And I love all you guys and all of our chatters, because you guys remind me of how much you watch, because when I go to different conferences and things, everybody comes up, you're James Morgan. And I'm like, yes, hi. So I mean, I love you guys very much, and this has been an honor and privilege. Thank you.
True, you ain't on your job.
No.
Did I go over?
You went way over.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all should have just.
And she said she was gonna be indiscriminate tonight and gonna ding people, and she didn't. And I got Angela talking about ring the bell. You didn't
ring the bell.
You didn't ring the bell.
Y'all don't make me go on this timer now.
I had my timer on. See, you weren't even paying attention.
Put the 2 fingers up so I can ring the bell. Then
who saw me motion?
And now they're going to take it out on me, James. Why? Don't take it out on me.
Y'all said y'all was going to get your 2 minutes in, so go ahead.
All right. Renata, it's your turn. Lord, today.
Okay. Do you see that?
No,
Do
ma'am.
You see it? You don't see it? Okay. No. All right. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Renata Yarbrough Sanders, and I'm supposed to be sharing my screen, but I guess it's not sharing. It's not sharing, right?
I can see it now.
It is now.
We see it now. Okay, great. Okay, here's my 2 minutes. So I was born in Ohio, but when I was 2, my family moved to Virginia, and I've been in Virginia ever since, different parts of Virginia. I grew up in Hampton all my years, and then I moved to Charlottesville, went to University of Virginia, which, James, I have to tell you, I picked over Howard University. Those were my 2 choices, and I chose UVA. That's a story for another day. Pledged Zeta Phi Beta while I was there, was very active in a lot of different activities. And then I began my career, which has been one career my whole adult life. I spent 32 years as an elementary educator, just retired in 2017. They haven't quite let go of me yet. I still am asked to come in and teach reading to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders a few times a week for a few hours a day. So I'm doing that in my retirement, as well as doing preschool screenings for our district's 4-year-old program, and I do tutor privately. So those are the things that I'm doing right now. And I have this stuff written down so that I can stay on track. But I'm very passionate about literacy, so it's not likely that I'll ever stop really teaching in one form or another. My hobbies are, believe it or not, Nika, I'm into photography also. I like to photograph nature, a lot of sunrises, sunsets, and I also photograph old homes. I do jigsaw puzzles. That's my oldest hobby. Been doing that since I was a little kid. I love to read, and I sort of play the piano, but I don't practice like I should, so I'm not as good as I should be. And my happy place is anywhere near the water, in the water, on the water, where I can see the water. So that's, those are the things I like to do. I just realized I never actually started the slideshow. And the last thing is I have 2 adult daughters who really have been my whole entire life. I've had an empty nest since 2006, but as you know now, I have 2 grandchildren, and so I'm looking for them to move closer so they can refill my nest for me a little while. And that's it. And there's the slideshow.
Oh, well, actually, sorry, Renata, you can share it again so we can see the second picture, because I was trying to toggle between screens. So
okay, because it's over. So there's the first picture, and there's the second picture.
Okay.
You see it?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
And you said that just like Chandler. You see it?
I don't know what happened then.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, hi guys. Oh, the comments in our chat say that your oldest grandchild looks just like you.
Oh, really? Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody does. Yeah, thank you. And these are some of the kids I tutor right now. So thank you, everybody.
Okay. All right. So we are going to do our second set of videos before we get into our next set of live Who Are We's. Felicia hasn't dialed in yet. So Alex, you're going to be up next after the next video. So I hope you have your statement together. And if you go over, we're going to ding you.
Sorry, Alex.
You better not go over. All right, let me go ahead and mute all of you all. Okay. All right, moving into the next video. Who is that? Who's that baby? I don't know who that is. I think that looks like somebody else.
My story of being born and raised in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I feel international inside, because I'm half Black and half German. I was a chaplain for my youth group at my church, United Baptist, there in Stilton. I was actually a cover guard. After high school, I joined the Army. It was all because I got laid off at my state job, and I was working for the Pennsylvania State Lottery. My life revolves around my grandparents, because they've just been instrumental on how I've been raised. I wasn't raised with baby boomer parents necessarily, because these are people from the greatest generation, and they grew up during the Great Depression. I actually can be a Medicaid nurse aide. So because I didn't get to finish being pre-med and after high school, because I was a mother and a wife then, and something had to give, and it was my education at the time. So I kind of like think I came full circle with that in my own personal way. So I've been married for over 21 years and 3 kids and 2 grandbabies later, here we are. After my retirement from the Army, the DAR still allows me to do my work and my life in service.
Hi, this is Angela Walton Raji. To answer the question, what do I do outside of genealogy? Well, let's see, gardening, quilting, writing, reading, cooking. Before I started doing genealogy, or apart from genealogy, I have had a work history that has been in higher education for many, many years. I worked at Boston College, Tufts University, University of Maryland, and I also like to travel. I have traveled in Western Europe, Western Africa, and of course throughout the country, and also to Puerto Rico several times as well. Anyway, that's my life outside of genealogy, and when I'm not doing any of the above that I mentioned, I'm doing genealogy. What can I say?
My name is Linda Bug Sims. I work for a Fortune 500 company. I am an affirmative action professional. I have a job that I absolutely love and don't mind going to each day. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in human resource management. I enjoy spending time with family, both immediate and extended. I am a wife, a mother, and soon to be grandmother. I am a Sunday school teacher. I teach senior adults. I'm also an avid reader, love to read. Give me a good book and I will just curl up somewhere and you won't hear anything from me. I see myself as a lifelong learner. I believe in staying relevant. I believe in continue to sharpen your skills, and I believe in increasing your knowledge. I have an emerging passion, and that is seeing young people who have been incarcerated be reconnected to society, looking to share resources with them and connect them with people who can help them re-engage back into society and become productive citizens.
Is there an emerging theme in all of these videos that you have seen? I hope folks realize this is a very educated group of people. Very much so. Genealogy is but one of the many disciplines that we participate in. Alex, your 2 minutes is about to start and you will get dinged. All right.
Hey, you guys, Alex Traps Chabala. I am originally from Sacramento, California, but I was raised primarily in the Bay. I'm the youngest, second to youngest of 13. So I've been an uncle almost my whole life. So you guys might hear two of my nieces and nephews in the background. But in the meantime, I actually was emancipated when I was 14, and I graduated from high school really, really early, allowing me to start college early. Outside of genealogy, my first major was pre-law, so I got to work as a paralegal for several state representatives in Sacramento for 3 years before 2015, when my genealogy career kind of shifted and became the focus of my life. So I really don't have much else to say other than I work and I also do a lot of public policy and activism around the Bay Area. So I'm part of an amazing fellowship called Young People For that focuses on getting underrepresented people leadership skills and education around politics and public policy with a progressive lens. Outside of that, my whole life has been really fixated on history. So I'm publishing my first book next year titled Leaving New Orleans with my cousin, Dr. Leslie Harris, which does focus somewhat on the genealogy of our family, but it's mostly an academic book. I have 3 degrees, 2 from the University of Beijing Language and Cultural Academy, and the other one from Hangzhou Academy, and then my last one from Peralta Colleges here in Oakland. So that's pretty much me actually at the moment. And recently,
okay, and you got to say what languages you speak, because Angela has to answer this question too.
I speak 3 languages technically. My first language was actually Louisiana Creole. My second language and primary language is English, and my most recent language that I'm learning is Mandarin, traditional Mandarin.
Okay, ni hao. Moving on to Angela, your languages that you speak, ma'am. You have to unmute yourself, baby. Let me do it for you. All right, there you go. I got you.
Okay. Well, I do speak Spanish, of course, English, of course. I majored in Spanish, in fact, when I was a student, and spent a year in Madrid, in fact, and at the University of Madrid, and minored in French, but français. I have studied an indigenous language, the Choctaw language, and I do understand a little bit of Yoruba and a little bit of Twi as well, both languages from West Africa.
Okay, Shelly, how many was that? Unmute yourself, Shelly.
I think I counted 5.
But I'm not
more. French, Spanish, England, and the Yoruba. That's 6.
And Twi.
And Twi, yeah.
That's all right.
And notice, and did people notice that was not in her video that she sent me?
No, she didn't.
We got to hear about collard greens and quilts, but we didn't hear about all the women.
And her little peppers.
And her little peppers.
And my peppers.
Oh my gosh. Lord have Lord today. All right. Moving forward, we have one last set of videos for our panelists. Coming up, pulling up the rears, Bernice, Theresa, and Tasia. I don't know why I managed to do all the teams together, but hey, that's all right. That works just fine. All right. Let me go ahead and mute everyone. All right.
I'm originally from New Orleans. I spent basically my early years in New Orleans and went on to pursue a Bachelor of Science degree from Grambling College. By the way, I was a cheerleader when I was at Grambling. After leaving Grambling, I taught school for 2 years and then went on to graduate school at the University of Michigan to pursue a Master of Public Health. I worked in healthcare for a number of years, and that degree in public health took me everywhere. Now, I never imagined that I would be spending 10 years in international health, but what it meant was that I was called upon to work in healthcare partnerships where we linked U.S. hospitals with hospitals in the former Soviet Union. I spent time in Russia, in the Republic of Georgia, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, Albania, Croatia. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you all of the places that I spent my time working with community groups and the primary care groups in the hospitals and community groups from the United States. It was a very rewarding experience.
This is Theresa Vega. You are in my studio. This is what's behind this screen. I used to be past president of Quilters of Color Network of New York. I also taught private classes and taught at a quilt shop. And so I'm working on a new series of mixed media art. And I'm currently working on this piece, and fabric's like paint to me. So when I'm doing my stuff, I keep a lot of scraps, as you can see, and it looks like a hot mess, but it comes together. And what you see here is the Green Family Concert Orchestra. That's my beloved granddad in the middle, his 3 sisters, his mom and dad. His mother was a music teacher. Dad owned a shoe store in Newark. They all played musical instruments. And if you look over here, my handsome granddad during World War II.
Now, who's been to more Super Bowls than anybody on the panel combined, but Tasia? How many? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me unmute you.
I think 8. No, I'll be going to this year's, next year's, and I think that's 8.
Okay, and I've never been to one. What is it like to be on the what is it like to be on the field? Because you are coordinating all the explosions to make sure they're timed. I mean, I think doing BlackProGen is like herding cats, but Lord, you got to do all that. How do you manage that?
It's hectic. I'm just on the field during the halftime show, which is crazy, but it's over in 7 minutes. So all that we're there for a month for 7 minutes.
My gosh.
That's 7 minutes more than most people get in an entire lifetime.
That's what I'm saying. And so wherever the host city is, you guys have to be there a month ahead of time for all the rehearsals and everything.
Yes.
Wow. This is only the kind of thing you hear on BlackProGen Live, right? How many people knew that they had to be there a whole month ahead of time to coordinate this kind of stuff? What's been your favorite show to work?
I would say 50th, and that was with Beyonce and Bruno Mars and I forgot the headliner was oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I can't remember, but Beyonce and Bruno Mars came out, and that was in San Francisco, and that was one of the best ones. And then the second one would be New Orleans, and that was Beyonce.
That was Beyonce too. So your tops are Beyonce. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That is great. That is great to know. All right, Tony, you're bringing up the rear. What's your 2 minutes? Chu-Ann, you got your bell? Because I know Tony ain't gonna go over because she's a good elevator pitch lady. All right.
Born and raised Cajun, French, and Creole. My master's degree is in applied anthropology. My background's a whole lot like Shelley's. I've been a crisis and suicide intervention counselor. I've been a puppeteer who used puppets to teach third graders how to recognize whether or not they were being abused and what to do if they realized that they were. And another thing you might not know about me is that I spent several years living on the road. I worked for Walmart's corporate office, setting up Walmart stores. And I set up 55 Walmart stores, most of them in South Carolina. And that's how I fell in love with South Carolina and especially the Low Country. That's it. I yield my time.
Tony, Karen said, first of all, Karen Worrell said New Orleans had to make its way into the show at some point, and she's absolutely right. We have to talk about it every single episode. Even if she missed Alex talking about it still had to make its way in. We have to know what parish you're from, because this is close to a lot of our hearts, Tony.
Oh, my grandmother was born in near New Iberia in the Bayou, and she didn't speak English until she was 14 years old. They put her back in school because she didn't speak English, and she learned how to speak English by teaching the catechism to other kids who did speak English. So my mother was born in New Orleans. I was born on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, so I'm a Mississippi girl.
All right. Look at all this stuff. Boy, I tell you, this panel is a trip and a half. Before we get into, because we have a guest that joined us, and I love how she snuck in all quiet. But before we get to our guest, there are a few other things that I want to share with you guys, so you guys understand who is actually watching the show. Because I'm not sure you guys really realize who's watching the show, and we've kind of alluded to it a little bit, but we haven't really hit on exactly what we mean when we're talking about this show is different. Here are some demographics, and I think even the panel is going to be surprised by this. More of our viewers are male. For Genealogy, that is completely against the grain. Genealogy markets as a market and markets itself is being female dominated, but not this show. It is more male than it is female. And our audience actually ranges between ages 25 and 34, not grandmas. So it's more male, and our viewers are younger. And then even still after that, the next group is 35 to 44, and then 18 to 24. So that completely obliterates what people think traditionally when it comes to genealogy. Most of our viewership, of course, is in the United States, but then of course we've got a small percentage of people in the UK and in Canada. In terms of the United States, most of our viewers are watching from California, which is interesting considering that our show starts earlier for them. But most of our viewers are watching the recordings. They're not actually watching it live. So that makes sense if California is the state with the most viewers, followed by Texas, Florida, New York, Illinois, and Georgia. And if you pay attention to the map and some of what our most popular shows are, it'll make sense when you talk about the Great Migration. Most viewers actually find us through suggested videos on YouTube searches, not because they already know about us. So if you put in, you know, I don't know, Mexican-American War or whatever, whatever Renata said earlier, whatever it is, if it's keyworded correctly, our viewers are going to find it. So of course you want to know, what are our most watched episodes? Well, our most watched episode as of yesterday was the one on the slave narratives, if you can believe it or not. And it may be because nobody else is talking about this on a video. Most people are writing about it because there is no companion video to go along with the narratives, right? After that, you've got North and South Carolina genealogy research. Following that is the African American Online Genealogy Toolbox, where we're giving you all our tips and tricks and go-to websites, etc. Of course, Louisiana and Mississippi is next because, I mean, come on now, what other states could you want to be next? I mean, you know, I'm biased. Sorry, Missouri, Carmen. Oh, well. Following that, Freedmen of the Five Civilized Tribes is the next most popular episode. So to go over quickly how we get the show to you behind the scenes, we usually do between 20 and 25 episodes per year. That's been our standard over the last 3 or 4 years. And it sounds crazy, but when you map it out at the beginning of the year, it looks undaunting. And then when you get to episode 100, like we're at right now, you're like, I can't, it's already over. Like, we're already done. That's just absolutely crazy. And so we normally select the topic. So when we're doing the hiatus, which is after tonight, we select all the topics. We look at analytics, meaning who's watching which videos, how long they're watching, all that kind of stuff. And then we also give panelists feedback. Then we draft the titles and the descriptions during the holiday break. And then after that, we get our guests. If we're gonna have guests on, like we say, hey, we're doing a DNA episode, let's have Shannon come on. Okay, then we reach out to Shannon and say, hey, Shannon, what are you doing on Tuesday? Blah, blah, blah. And he says, oh, thank you so very much. I would love to join you, as Shannon would say. And so that's appropriate because that's how Shannon would answer. I wasn't mocking, I was actually emulating Shannon. And so then after that, the panelists suggest, guests. The viewers also suggest guests, and then we draft the prompts and questions along with the resources and everything else. So just so you guys know, we don't just show up. This show does not happen the way that it does, and it is not executed by us just showing up. There's a whole lot of work that is done on the back end to make it look seamlessly, so that when you are really trying to get to that find, like Carmen says when she made her daddy watch, you know how formulaic the show is. You know certain points that we're going to hit at certain points in time. So just wanted to give that little bit of background. And that's some stuff that I shared at a recent presentation that I did to talk about the show. And we've got one of our viewers on who has never been on with us but before, Michelle Marsden. Thank you so much for joining us on BlackProGen, and just talk about your experience that you've had over the 100 episodes.
First, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'm so glad to be here. So glad to meet everyone on the panel. I feel like you're my friends in my head because I listen to you. I have listened to you for a few years now. I've been a genealogist since I was 19. I started asking my grandmother questions and started digging through files, but then got married, had kids, and had to take a break. And so when you were talking about this format, it's perfect for someone like me, a working mom, wife, professional, and I need to find a way to still do what I'm passionate about, but in the time frame that works for me. And that's often either while I'm cooking or doing other activities. And I can learn quickly what I need to know and then hit the ground running. So since I've watched your show, I've been able to discover Civil War files, and shout out to Bernice for that. Thank you so much, because my dad and I were able to take everything you put in that episode, and you and James, and go to DC and go through the files and find information and then bring it back to the family. That was really exciting. And then all your other episodes on finding enslaved ancestors. I started my research with my great-grandfather who was born a slave in Georgia. And there's just not enough current information out there for African-American research. So when I found your show, it was a gem. It was just a gold mine of information that I could sift through and use in my time frame. And it was just perfect. So thank you.
All right. All right. Our other guest is showing up. Jen, you want to try and say something? Hold on. I think you're muted. All right, Jen, can you talk?
Yes, I can now.
Hey, there is
Hi.
our friend Genealogy Jen. What is going on? She's got on her BPG merch tonight.
I do. It's my favorite thing to wear to the Family History Center on Wednesday. So this is like my pre-game show.
So what has been your experience with BlackProGen Live, Jen?
I absolutely love it. It's a great opportunity for me to be able to learn more about family history research, about history in general, because that way I can help other people. And it's helped me become a better researcher for my own ancestry, because even though I don't have ancestors who are people of color, I help a lot of people. And I think that if you learn to research something that's not necessarily your background, it makes you a better researcher overall. And the other thing is I'm a great advocate too. I'll stand on my soapbox and say, hey, I'll get all riled up. That's about it.
She does. And if so, yes.
I'm sorry. I know, Jen, you said you don't have any ancestors who are people of color, but do you have any relatives who are?
No, my family is so white.
You don't have.
I was so disappointed when I took my DNA test.
Jen, you can't think of one person of color that you're related to?
Oh my gosh, no, my cousin Dante. Are you kidding? Yes, I do. I have lots of cousins.
I'm talking about me, Jen.
I'm thinking about like my pasty children. I need to slather the sunscreen on and everything like that. So
it's just like my mom. She was like,
oh yeah, my cousin Dante. I'm like, Jen, me? You forgot about me?
Yeah. But I get it.
I have lots of family.
Absolutely.
Just not immediate family.
Just not immediate family. So Jen, how would you say watching BlackProGen Live has helped you become a better, because you're a director over a Family History Center, right?
Yes. It's helped me because I didn't know a lot of the record sets that were available. And I also, I didn't know about train porters. And so that was something that I was able to research when you guys were talking about the Black migration. And so I'd learned about the Great Migration. I'd learned about that in books before, but that was something that wasn't really mentioned a lot. And then when you were talking about some of the occupations that people had, like your relatives and things that you learned about in different records, then that's really helped me to be able to share that with people. And I was able to help someone break through that 1870 census brick wall and help find their ancestors. And she wasn't sure if she would be able to find them or not, but I was able to help her because I knew it was possible because I'd seen you do it.
Okay. All right, Jen. This has been pretty cool. So are there any additional thoughts you guys want to add before we move into viewer comments? And of course, I'm sorry, Renata, there's something you would like to say?
There's something I'd like for you to show.
Oh, okay.
The picture.
Okay, well, while we're doing that, Jen and Michelle, is there? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Tony. Before they close out.
Well, I'd like to say something about Genealogy Jen. She is the person who coined the phrase, "If genealogy had a smell, it would be the crack, toffee, pecans, and peanuts that are cooked in the exhibit center in Roots Tech." So
yes.
Now we know what genealogy would smell like.
Oh, cinnamon and sweet, and a little bit of pecan.
Butter.
Oh, it's so good. So
that's
good.
how me and Jen met. We were first timers back then. Yeah.
Well, and people like Linda's like, I don't know what you're talking about. If you go to Roots Tech, they have this vendor come in that roasts like nuts and like popcorn. And it's not like just regular nuts and popcorn. It is like they have a smell scientist I know that is connected to this business, because the smell is literally throughout an entire convention center. Like, I don't know how they managed to cover all of that space, but they do. So as you're walking through Roots, you're like, oh gosh, I want some of those nuts. Like, you know, like it just, am I lying? Shelly, you've been there. Angela,
It's the
you've been there.
cinnamon
Tasia,
all the
you've been
way.
there.
It's the cinnamon. It just draws you right there. And every time I walked by there, it was like looking like that, needing to go get a bag. It's the cinnamon.
It's the cinnamon. It is
Yes.
just, oh my
And it's
Lord.
not keto friendly.
No.
It's not keto friendly at all.
Shannon's
And
laughing.
Tierra said that they're so amazing. I left last year with 3 bags in my suitcase. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Tony, you said what you said. Okay, all right. So Michelle, Jen, are there any last words before we move into viewer comments? Because there's a lot that I have to share, and we have an Ask Mariah tonight too. We don't want to leave that out.
Nika, we have Shannon.
Oh, okay. Shannon Christmas, what would you like to say?
Oh, he's on mute.
Let me make sure he's not. He's not on mute. Go, Shannon. Oh, I don't know what happened. Shannon, did you touch your headset? Your mute on your headset, maybe?
Yeah, who's going to tell us about?
Okay. Yeah, that's what you did.
Interesting. Well, I was just going to add that it has been really fantastic to see this grow over the past couple of years. And I am sure, will be fantastic to watch it grow over the next 5 years, as there are many more individuals jumping into genealogy now, sucked in by commercials telling them how important it is to determine whether they should wear lederhosen or kilts. So we have to be ready for that.
And look, and you see how he just added that extra bit of stank on the end. That's what happened, right? That's why Shannon needs to be on BlackProGen, because it's genealogy with
seasoning.
Seasoning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Flavor. Seasoning, extra sweet.
With extra flavor. So Michelle, Jen, your final words before we move on to viewer comments, etc.
I just want to say thank you and just encourage the panel to keep going on, keep encouraging the viewers to dig deeper. Just when I thought that I had, maxed out and done as much as I could, you would post another episode and I would dig a little bit deeper or find a new resource or a new set of information. And we're using it. We're out here. We're following you. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the timeline, the fan club, all the different things you've taught us to use. It's very helpful. And you're really the voice of the people. So we're listening. So thank you.
Oh, we might have to add that as a new tagline. What y'all think? I saw Alex's face. He was like, yeah.
Oh, and I was told to bring a little toast. So here's a toast to you guys.
We haven't toasted yet. We have not toasted.
Mine's
we have not toasted.
Sparkling cider, but yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. What would you like to toast? Look, Ellen drinking before we even said the toast.
I would like to toast to family history and representing all of our ancestors, and may we continue to find them and pass that information on to all of our children below us.
Here, here. There you go.
Here, here.
There you go.
All right, Jen, last words.
I just want to say that I really appreciate what you do and what the show offers. As our nation becomes more and more diverse as time goes on, people don't just necessarily have one distinct background. They have an interwoven history and heritage. And by working together, regardless of who your ancestors are, learning more about them helps us feel more connected to each other and to our ancestors. It helps us understand who we are a lot better. So thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it. Plus, you guys are my friends. That's what I like, going to Roots Tech, to hang out with you, give you high fives, hugs, and it's just really relatable. I love it.
Takes a village.
It does take a village. It does take a village. All right. Thank you guys so much. Don't feel as though you have to stay for Ask Mariah or the final things. We do have a gift set of giveaways, you guys. We have a ton of stuff we have to give away. So do not leave yet, because some of you may be winning some of these things. So we've got to spin the wheel in order for us to get to that. And so Renata will stop asking me about this. This is what she wanted you to see.
That I left out of my slideshow.
That she left out of her slideshow was her picture looking like she was getting ready to go to a Gap Band concert. She was ready to go with her boots and her high-waisted pants. That's what she wanted you guys to see. All right. So we're going to go to viewer comments. We have a lot of them, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys have been in the chat room just cutting smooth up. All right, first one, James Griffin, I'm sorry, says, congratulations, you've inspired me to help me navigate through my Black, British, Canadian, American roots. Boy, you guys, look at it. This is a group we didn't even know we were touching. Okay, come on now, praise reports. I need to hear these claps. Unmute yourselves and whatnot. I need to hear all the claps and all the yeses and snaps.
Well,
okay.
Well, amen, amen.
Amen, amen. Okay. By all the interesting conversations from you in the panel, thank you. CBCFL says, love how authentic you all are. That's huge. Can't be fake on this one. We'll spot you a mile away. Faith E says, I love it. You all have helped me with my family genealogy, and I got to meet Miss Angela in person, and she's a very down-to-earth and joyful person. Many more years to come. Look at Angela having good home training. I love that. All right. Yakota Strong says, thank you. Thanks for all that you do. Consistent, great info, great energy. Also, Christine Varner says, hope you will celebrate the 200th in the future. Ooh, Jesus, hold my mule. That means another 10 years. Lord, I don't know if we're going to make it that long. Oh my goodness. Sophia Giza, I'm probably saying that wrong, says, hi, good night. Been a while. Tuning in from Trinidad and Tobago.
TNT. Hey, Sophia.
Look at that. We've hit Canada and the Caribbean in one set of comments. Boy, oh boy. Megan Hale says, I just found out about this group with Nika during the VGA conference. So this may be your 100th episode. This is my first.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, look at True's over there shaking her pom-pom. All right, then we're moving forward with E Genesis says, I've learned so much from you guys. Thank you and keep up the good work. Denise Muhammad says, you all are leading the way in the genealogy community. You have proven that it is possible to trace your African-American ancestors and get past the wall of 1870 and shown us how to do it. Ooh, child.
Amen.
See,
That's
look,
right.
we don't even be talking about that enough. That's so true, right? Every episode we're like, stop saying it's a brick wall. And then finally, Theresa Goley says, and you know, every Theresa, I'm gonna say Theresa. I even say that with my own great-grandmother now. She says, I had no idea I needed BPG until I came across her channel at 3 a.m. looking for my ancestors in Arkansas. I never look back. I have knowledge and tools. Thank you, BlackProGen.
All right.
Wow. 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 Boy.
That's why you do it, though. That's why you do it.
Yes.
What she says.
To find the names of the ancestors, to be able to speak their names. That's why you do it.
You got that right. Look at our student just chiming in. Go ahead. What you got to say, James?
Hey, Nika, before we go to ask Mariah, I gotta say this. I have to say this, and I think I speak on behalf of all of the other panelists when I say this. Nika, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know, and we all know it's not easy. We all have different personalities and disagreements, this and that, third. But I could not let tonight go by without giving you your moment, because this show, you are the glue, you are the drill sergeant and everything in between to get us together. And we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you so much, Nika. I know I do, but I know we all do, and all of our panelists do. I could not let tonight go on without proposing a toast to Miss Nika Sewell Smith. So everybody, please raise your glasses at home. If you ain't got one, just pretend you got one, please. I got to propose a toast for Nika, because this wouldn't be here without you. Thank you, Nika. So much.
Cheers.
Thank you, Nika. And your right arm.
Yep.
Come on now.
Without the right arm,
True.
you can't make it. My cousin
It's
True
true.
sitting over there looking all cute and stuff.
Yep.
But the big BlackProGen panel,
The Abuela
and holding it up and holding all of us up. And she got
True.
that EAN
True.
bell back there. I know it's over there.
True.
Thank you to you too, True. And James,
Yes,
you
True.
stole my thunder towards the end of the show.
He sure did. And
He
I
did.
would be remiss if I did not also thank Shelly Murphy, who thankfully took over Ask Mariah, has done it with excellence. And she will never ask for credit for that, but we do not have to manage the process at all. She completely took it out of our hands, and we are absolutely 110%
Telling the
so
secret.
grateful. Yeah, I know. So we say no one sees it, but Shelly sees it. She's the only one who does. And you know, she plays the role so well. She's like, oh,
She does.
what sentences did they say they didn't have? You know, like she.
Oh, I had no idea as a viewer. I was like, oh.
No. All the secrets. You're telling all the secrets now.
No secrets.
There's no secret. Shelly is the one that is emailing you and she's the one that gets the Ask Mariah. She reviews them and she tries to, coordinate them with the theme of the show. And sometimes they go and sometimes they don't. But that is Shelly. So yeah, and she has been the unsung hero with that. I would say I think at this point that Ellen and Theresa and maybe even Angela and Shelly have been on the most shows, and even James. I would have to go back and actually
top 10. We had top 10 in those first few episodes. Quite a while.
Did.
Oh,
yes, we did. Yes, we did. For me, the blessing is some of you are so shy and introverted, and people do not know that about you. So when they come up to you in person, like somebody with the red scarf on with glasses,
right?
And she's like, how in the world do you know who I am? And it's because you have this eloquent voice and they hear you talking in Choctaw at the end of the show. You guys don't realize that some of these people are very introverted, right? Taja's video, I didn't edit that.
Right.
She put that together and just sent it to me. She's a dynamo. She's on the field during halftime at the Super Bowl, you guys.
With Beyonce.
Next time I see her, I'm going to do the Beyonce walk.
I gotta say something about Angela. I gotta say something about Angela's sweet voice. I heard this quote about Zora Neale Hurston, but I'm gonna apply it to Angela Walton Raji. Angela has a voice that is so sweet. She could tell you to go to hell and make you enjoy the trip.
What you said. When
she presents and tells the story of Uncle Cephas, that's my uncle now.
Right.
It really is. We've all taken ownership over him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That would make a great phone message.
But yes, this has been, I realize that this has been a time commitment for everybody on the panel, even those who are not here. Like Willie, who has been working his tail off trying to finish his degree and has been working. Unfortunately, his schedule is, off the chains on Tuesday. So he hasn't been able to join us. Felicia, who's kind of helped behind the scenes, who participated in the research trip we took this past spring. It was so much fun. Everyone who's ever been on the show has served as an expert, has come on just to have fun. We've had so many episodes, I can't even think of everything. And then what's so funny is in developing 2020, I saw huge minefields that we forgot about. And I'm like, how do we forget about that in 100 episodes? But we haven't covered everything, you guys. So from the bottom of my heart to all the panelists and to our guests, thank you guys so much, especially viewers. Here's the thing. What I think people don't realize is when you set up something like this, folks don't know if people are going to receive it. We don't know if somebody is going to respond. We don't know if someone is going to make a comment. We don't know if people are, we don't even know if it's going to have an impact. We could literally just be talking out into the air and no one would respond. So when we see you in person, it literally is like our bread, no lie. And it is our water, and it helps us just stay along. So Michelle, Shannon, Jen, feel free, log off if you want to participate. Carmen, you too. You ain't got to stay on. I see your microwave. I hope you ate before you got on.
We've got a macaroni and cheese in the oven right now, and I can smell it wafting up the stairs. I'm so excited. So excited.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Tell dear Myrtle hello. She is now in the room And you gave a tribute to her in the beginning. So she
I
probably
did. Pat, we
Mhm.
talked about you. Again, thank you so much for your support early on with helping us with the platform, being very, sharing with us when technology was being friendly and not. And just being a good all-around Genie buddy or Genie bud. We love you. And of course, you can hear your beautiful long soliloquy towards the beginning of the show. I hope everyone remembers you can rewind the show as it takes place and then come back to current time. So, but I'm sure, I know dear Myrtle knows this because she hosts the show just like this. So anywho, all right. So Michelle, Jen, Shannon, Carmen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I truly appreciated it.
Yeah, you know what? Shannon could tell you to go to hell too when you'd like it.
Right, that's true. But he would never do that.
He would never
He
do
would
that.
never do
You're
that.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Me,
All right, moving on
however.
to Ask Mariah. Oh Lord. Moving on to Ask Mariah, which of course we would be remiss if we did not have this. And of course we still have giveaways, so we need to hurry up. Make sure we respect people's time. It's your favorite part of the show. This is the part where you get to, you the viewer, submit your questions, queries, conundrums, and more to the panel. And we weigh in live with research help specifically geared towards you. Panelists never see the queries beforehand. So, well, yeah, now you know Shelley sees it, but everybody else doesn't see it beforehand. And so, and this is a way for us to help our Genie buds get past their brick walls. All right. Moving on, let's see, Darius Brown. Hey, what's going on, Darius? How are you? Thanks so much for joining us this evening with your BlackProGen Live query. I think he might be in the chat room, but let's assume he is not. Darius says or sends to us, out of my 8 great-grandparents, 7 were from South Carolina, and 1 moved to South Carolina from Louisiana. He was from Cato Parish. See, I know how to say that because my folks are from North Louisiana. I think near Shreveport. His name was Howard Spratt, born 1936. Oh, Lord, this child's great-grandparents were born in 1936. Oh, Lord. Okay, that makes me feel real old. His father was also named Howard Spratt, born 1912, 1915. Howard Spratt Sr. was the son of Buster Spratt, 1872 to 1874, and Alameda Shepherd. What he knows, I only find Buster on the 1900 census with his mother, Creasy, and every census after that. The 1900 census in Cato, Ward 2, has Creasy Davis, born 1852, and Buster listed with her. Buster's social security record says Alan Spratt is his father and Creasy Davis his mother. I've tried several ways to find them before 1900. What he has is the 1900 through 1940 census, Social Security application index, and has tested with various DNA systems. So we are trying to get back further for Darius's great-grandparents, which of course that had me taken aback because these people are born the same year as my father. So I'm like, I could be a grandma based on what is going on with him. And he's just basically trying to get before 1900. So he's found Buster in 1900. Buster is born in 1872, and he found him with his mother, Creasy, in 1900, but he cannot find Buster before that time span. So what are your suggestions?
Monica, can I tell you something about Darius?
Yes.
He is 843 Gullah News.
Okay.
And he's a very experienced and I should say brilliant researcher. So he already knows the basics that we're going to say, like go to the Family Search Wiki and see what records are available for Cato Parish. He knows how to navigate to the Family Search catalog. He knows how to crawl around in really obscure records. So when he says that he has done everything he can think of, I know that he has.
Okay, look at Tony coming in with the vouch, because I know the aunties were gonna have a field day, like, boy, you ain't been on site, like it was coming. I know it was coming. And so here's the thing
about we don't play around.
Yeah, we really don't.
Darius don't play around. He does not play around. He does some really good research.
Okay, look, here's a second person coming in here chiming for Darius. So what are our suggestions? Because here you have someone who's born before the black hole of 1890 to 1899, right? So clearly Buster is supposed to be on the 1880 census, but to me, because Buster sounds very nickname-ish, he may have had another given name. And that might be the reason why we're not finding him. This may be one of those scenarios where we do something like, oh, I don't know, do a surname search only in that area, Spratt with one T, Spratt without, without, with one T, with two T's, maybe Creasy, right? You need to look for Lucretia.
Lucretia, I was going to say my third great grandmother, her name was Critty, but in some census records they say Creasy. But I would look at Lucretia, Critty, or some derivative name because it's probably a shortened form.
I'd look at some of the male names in the family from that generation to see if they might have repeated, because it could have been there's just too many and then he just becomes Buster,
Has he been able to determine when they migrated? They were South Carolina before they ended up farther west. When did they, South Carolina and ended up in Louisiana? Is that what it was? When did they migrate? And if the migration is not known, I would take a close look at both World War I and II draft cards to see where place of birth is listed. I use those often for migration, using those two databases, particularly someone was born, if it's known that someone was born, let's say 1880s onward. Of course, he was born maybe in the 70s. You might find a specific place of birth that might point you to an 1880 census, who knows? Just using that. I've given a presentation on migration, and I use these databases not created for migration at all, but to find people who migrated from a specific community. That might help.
Yeah, and I have a question.
He mentions in the chat room, and you can follow up after this, Ms. Bernice. He says his great grandfather came to South Carolina because of the military. So that's not Buster. That is Howard, who came to South Carolina. So Bernice, what were you gonna follow up
I
with?
was just saying, I heard that he's really good at the online research, but has he actually gone on to the actual site? I mean, if he's in Caddo Parish, you might find some information that's not online yet. And so I would encourage, if he's not in Louisiana, to go there and go on site and see what else he could find.
I was just about to say, I've been to Caddo Parish. The courthouse is amazing. In fact, they even have remote access that you can use and pay for at home. It is not cheap. I think it's like $300 a year, but all of their books going back until the earliest ones they have are digitized and they are available for view online at home. It is one of the only parishes that is like that in the state of Louisiana that I have been to. If you go there, in fact, you don't even get to look at the actual old books. They put you on a computer to look at that stuff that's scanned. And you can actually go and search deed records on marriage records. Actually, I think it's just marriages on the Caddo Parish clerk's website right now. You have the ability to do that up until current marriages. And that's for free. You don't have to pay for access to that. He hasn't mentioned, said that he's gone on site. Go ahead, James.
I have a question. So we're looking for Buster Spratt, and he born when again?
1872 to 1874.
Okay.
And
the reason why I'm asking is because I'm just looking around some newspapers online, and I see a Buster Spratt that was arrested in Shreveport for pled guilty to attacking somebody. So I don't know if this is the same person or not.
What year is that?
This is 1943. So
so it's afterwards. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's a relative or what have you. But whoever this Buster Spratt is, it says Buster Spratt, Negro, pled guilty to cutting Mathis Henderson and received 90-day farm sentence. So I don't.
Lord,
I don't know
he
if that's
got
a
we
relative.
got a cut. Well, even if it ain't a relative, there's a record, because remember, Louisiana only has one clerk, which means that if you're gonna do court records or deeds or marriages, you only go to one office, and they're in the same place. And like I said, this Caddo Parish is on it. The records is clean. There ain't no dust. It is fantastic. It is one of the best courthouses I've been to in the state of Louisiana. And I will chime in that Darius has said that he's never been to Louisiana.
Oh, he must go to
gotta
he must
go.
go to Louisiana. I like to do on-site research. I mean, I'll do so much online, but I have to go and touch the place. Darius,
Well,
Darius need to
I'll
do a
meet
full
you in
360
Caddo
spin.
Parish.
Sorry, because everybody is about to. I'm sorry, Darius. Let me apologize ahead of time, because we all gonna come in like a thief in the night right now, and come for your good research, baby. We know. Hold on. We know you did your due diligence. We know you have researched all you can online. We know that you have summoned the gods of genealogy, your and past, and they have come and spoken to you in your dreams and told you the right collection to go to. But you know we gonna shake our finger at you like that woman who you that's gonna be at dinner next week and sees the little girl that you're gonna bring in, or your partner you're gonna bring in, and is gonna look at that plate and see what it looks like in terms of the dish that they're bringing. We're judging. Sorry, but we are, because we want you to get that on-site experience doing research. And there are certain things that you cannot say or rule out unless you go on site. And love you.
No,
You've
I
had
was
2 people vouch for you on the panel.
Yep.
But you got to go on site.
Go
Got to go on site.
I
Go
also
local. You can go visit those cemeteries. Go to the churches. Find a neighborhood.
But I'm
and
curious
talk to the
as
people.
well, what is his DNA results turning up for that surname or the location of Shreveport?
Well, you're
Like the
researching
5th to 8th.
But remember, you can't have genealogy without DNA, and you can't have DNA
No,
without
I'm just
genealogy.
curious. I'm just curious. I know that. I'm just curious as to what's coming up for
At this
Shreveport.
point, if he's trying to get before 1900, a DNA kit might help, but it may not. There's still going to be unanswered questions about relationships with DNA relatives that you have. So here's another thing. He may need to look at Bossier Parish, which is just next to Cato Parish. And there was a lot of people going back and forth between those locations, and really even potentially looking at Eastern Texas for records as well, because Cato Parish is not far from Texarkana. Why is it named Texarkana? Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. That is the reason why. So don't rule out Texarkana, even southwestern Arkansas, potentially, as a place where your ancestors live.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. DNA is great, right? Teresa, you're talking about looking at DNA
No, I was
matches
just curious.
the reason why I bring
matches.
Okay, he said a couple of matches. Now, here's the thing. I had the same scenario pop out. My family is from Northeast Louisiana. This is Northwest Louisiana. Those folks were from Cato Parish, but they had roots in Southwest Arkansas, and they also had roots in Texarkana. What are some of the communities that show up? The Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas community. That still doesn't tell you who the people are. So you've got to do a deep dive in the records. Any other suggestions before we move on? Because we've got
I just
13
was
giveaways.
trying to squeeze in early on about newspaper research. So James touched on it by finding an article, but if he hasn't done newspaper research, I suggest he goes to the Black newspapers as well as the mainstream, and also church records, as well as someone mentioned that someone worked on the railroad. So I would check those railroad records also.
And don't forget the vertical files at some of the local historical societies as well.
Mika, in the chat, he said there's also a Buster Jr.
Yeah.
So Buster Jr. might have been the one that cut the
flip
person
the
up.
switch here and start researching the ones that he knows to get back to who he can't find.
Absolutely.
And flip it around.
Yeah, and another tactic that we talk about, I think we talked about this last Ask Mariah. If you are looking at the census in 1900, look at the environment, right? That's part of our crew acronym. Look at the environment. Who is living around them, and try to find them in 1880. And see, just literally search the entire census district, and you may see familiar names and you may not, but you have to be able to rule it out. So don't look at it as I don't feel like it. Well, no, you got to be able to check that off as something that you've done or that you've tried.
Right.
Okay. And
For a timeline also, because if there's a whole bunch of Busters, or and there's a Buster Jr., then he should be able, in chronological order, try to track him through those censuses that he has, and then find Daddy and take it from there to back up to maybe find him prior to 1900.
You know what else I'd recommend? I have one more recommendation. If he finds a document with an ancestor's name, let's say it's a death certificate, look at who the informants are.
Yes, or the
and
witnesses.
then or some of the witnesses. Any kind of document you find and it has a witness, start tracking those people, and you may end up finding your ancestors.
That's right.
That's very true. That's the breadcrumbs. We talk about the
And
breadcrumbs.
figure out what his real name is.
What
And
you
the
said,
funeral.
because Buster ain't it, baby. I don't think it
Buster
is.
is not his name.
Yeah.
His name is Calvin.
Right.
Yes.
All right now, not Calvin.
Oh my gosh.
Linda, that's the brother. That's my daddy. That's the ex-husband.
That's my uncle.
So
Calvins
Deborah,
are in my life.
Deborah
Linda.
Singleton in the chat said she found a Buster Baxter Sprat. So I would look into that name Baxter. That is so close to Buster. That could be a clue right there as to what the real name might be.
Okay, Linda.
I was just going to say, look at if you can get the funeral home application, look at that and see what information was put on the application.
For a burial. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Alex, you sent a record. Hold on. And I'm not sure. Somebody is feverishly typing. And
It's not me here in my hands.
Yeah. Everybody hold your hands up. You're getting robbed.
I get blamed and it's never me.
I already know it's Angela. She's been the culprit the entire episode.
Blame it on James.
I'm a blame
James. You can't blame everything on the
Okay.
brown boy.
So, Alex, what are you implying by this record that you sent in the chat?
The mother's name is listed as like Clarissa, which could be a variant of Clarissa, so it couldn't be. It could possibly not be her. But their last name is Reynolds, and they're still in Caddo. The names kind of go along, and then I've seen some of the siblings living nearby where his Buster Spratt lived throughout the years. So it could be that there could have been like a non-paternal event or somewhere where that Spratt name gets adopted. But it could be them. So we could send them that link to that record over. But he's under Buster Reynolds in Caddo Parish, 1880.
Question.
Okay, and that record. Go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, I had a question to see if Darius has looked to see if there are any Civil War pension files of anyone with the surname Spratt, and whether, again, you can check to see on the databases where the applicant for a pension was living at the time. Ancestry certainly pulls that up. And even if a person is living in Louisiana, the fact is that perhaps a parent could have served. His father may have been, and especially if you see the 33rd and the 34th out of South Carolina, that could certainly be, maybe he ended up after the war, took his family to Louisiana later after the war. I would just take a look to see if there are any people who filed for pensions called Spratt who lived in Caddo, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Then
Don't forget
Freedmen
about the
records as
Father
well.
Abear records either.
The what?
Yeah,
Father Abear records.
Those wouldn't cover that area.
Oh.
Not northwestern or northeastern Louisiana, and they would have to be Catholic.
Right.
And don't forget South Carolina, because the bulk of the family was in South Carolina anyway, right?
Well, for this particular line, they moved there later. So this
Okay.
is a separate line.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, I think I always tell people North Louisiana is really South Arkansas or West Mississippi. It is not, the culture is completely different than Central or Southern Louisiana. Tony, am I right? Bernice? Okay, that's what it really is. So, all right, hopefully, hopefully, yeah, I think the Civil War pension idea is a great idea. Look at the service records, see where the people were born, who were filing the pension or actually who had service that were from that area. Just find out where all the Sprats lived and then kind of look at that community and do that research. He said he's going back to check pension files. I'm normally doing my South Carolina research. So Miss Karen said amen about North Louisiana being like South Arkansas and West Mississippi. I told you I ain't wrong. I know because my folks are from there. Anywho, all right, well, hopefully, Darius, we gave you a lot of suggestions on things that you could do to try and break through your brick wall. If you have a brick wall, feel free to reach out to BlackProGen Live with your query today. A link to submit is in the description of each and every episode of the show. Remember to be super specific. Let us know what records you've searched, what oral history you have, if you've DNA tested, and more. The more you tell us, the better. You just may be selected to be featured on one of our upcoming episodes. All right, shifting gears. With the 10s leaving the building and the 20s now on the horizon, a shift of focus is upon us. 2020 means a 6th season with the crew you love and the addition of a new content to keep the people of color voice at the forefront of genealogy and family history. Stay tuned to our social channels for updates, and we'll see you on Wednesday, January 15th for episode 101. All right. Be sure to keep up with us during the hiatus by staying plugged into our social channels. Of course, be sure to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and follow the hashtag BlackProGen. And of course, we mentioned that there were going to be giveaways. So we had to go to the giveaways, right? I mean, hello, we couldn't leave you guys out in the cold without making sure we give away all of these things. There's a lot of stuff that we have to give away. So I'm going to throw the names in a randomizer and we're going to spin the wheel and see who gets what. So let me put that in here. All right. And most of these people are actually still in the chat room. So thank you, God. So they'll find out what they won. Because that would suck if you won something and you weren't there to pick it up, right?
I'm excited. I know I'm not even going to win anything.
I am too. I'm so excited for whoever wins something.
Yes, well, there are quite a few prizes available. Of course, we've got our Ken Custom swag, which means that you can get a sublimated BlackProGen Live shirt. We've got the interview primer that I put together a number of years ago that helps you, literally has more than 100 questions to ask people during interviews, a coaching session with moi. We've got Bernice's book, James's book, a 1-hour consultation with Renata, a 1-hour consultation with Ellen, a 1-hour consultation with Shelly, a 1-hour consultation with Tony Carrier. We've got Radiant Roots Boricua Ranch's store swag. You can get a hat, a bag, or a t-shirt, a 1-hour consultation with Linda. And of course, our grand prize, which of course I forgot to put on this list, is a 1-year subscription to Ancestry. Of course, that's worth more than $300. And Ancestry actually contacted me when they found out we were doing this 100th show and said, hey, do you guys want a subscription to raffle off? So, hey, that's one of our things. All right, so we're going to go to the random name picker. All right, who's going to say go?
Go.
Go.
Tiara in the chat said, spin that wheel.
Oh, this is awesome.
Wheel of Fun.
All right.
Ooh.
Katrina, you have won our first prize on the list, which was, I think it was our Ken Custom swag. So you'll be able to get a t-shirt, a BlackProGen Live t-shirt. So if you are no longer watching the show, of course, we are going to honor all of our commitments. True, can you write down who wins what? Because I can't do that and spin the wheel at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, baby. All right, her name gets removed. All right, up next is the interview primer. This is something that is awesome. You will love it if you get it.
I love this wheel.
I do too. It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, it just passed Michelle.
Oh, man.
William Felder, you get the interview primer.
He will put it to good use.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, do you know him? Okay.
Yeah, that's That's William Gary Felder. He researches African Americans in Kershaw County in the upstate in South Carolina. And he's an educator, so he will put that to very good use.
All right, all right. And you guys, I don't know if you guys know there's sound for this.
Yeah,
Let me turn the
I want
sound
to
up
hear
so you
the
can hear.
sound.
You
Oh,
can hear the
girl, don't
sound.
tell
All
me
right.
got the clicker. Come on.
It sure does, baby. All right, now
Come with that.
we got a 1 hour coaching session with yours truly. All right, ready, set, and panel.
Go.
Oh,
I'm dead.
Look
I
at
cannot
here.
believe this.
I'm waiting on y'all. I gotta eat my popcorn.
Girl, why you didn't do that from the jump? That's hilarious.
Anita Rosser, you won a 1 hour genealogy coach session with yours truly. All right. Moving forward, our next giveaway is Bernice's book. Let's see who wins this one.
Oh,
Why is this cracking me up?
We just love our sound effects.
I love it.
Kanisha Marshall.
Yeah.
All right, Kanisha Marshall,
Very
you
good.
won Bernice's book. All right, moving forward, James, here is your book.
I don't even want to send it to my cousin since she forgot about me, but I'm gonna send it to her anyway. Love
And
you,
you
Jen.
better sign it too.
And
Love you,
yeah,
Jen.
sign it.
Yes, he's got to sign it. All right. Next book. I'm gonna turn the sound off because people are saying, "Oh my God, that's horrible" with headphones. So I don't want to drive you guys crazy because I love you.
Hilarious.
I love
So
it.
you can just imagine the applause and all that kind of stuff. All right. Next is Angela's book. All right. Angela's book is going to Dante Eubanks.
That's a good one because he's so sweet, just like her.
He really is. So Dante,
That
you
was
won.
a good match.
That was a good match. Apparently, Kanika already has Bernice's book, but she don't care. She won another one. So that's all right. All
I'm
right.
happy. Dante's also my cousin. I'm happy that he won something.
All right. Up next is an hour consultation with Renata. All right. Let's see who's got it. Sophia Giza, she's winning a 1 hour session with Renata. All right, 1 hour consultation with Ellen.
Darius.
All right, Darius, you won that one. All right, let's see, 1 hour consultation with Shelly. As Shelly dances.
Oh, I'm not a dancer. Y'all be so embarrassed.
Ashley Peterson.
Yay, Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley. All right, 1 hour consultation with Shelly.
You just did Shelly, didn't you?
I mean, Tony. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I meant to say Tony. I meant to say Tony.
Oh.
Michelle. So you'll get a full time, more time with Tony. All right, it's not over. We still have more. We've got 3 more things to give away. Next is the Radiant Roots Borica Branches store swag. So you get to choose between a hat, bag, or t-shirt. Nancelia Belton. All right, she has won the RRBB shop swag. Our next one is a 1 hour consultation with Linda. Elizabeth Torres, you are the winner of the 1 hour consultation with Linda. And last but not least, is our biggie drum roll. Those of you who are left get the chance to win the Ancestry membership for a whole year. All right. Even if you here's the thing, even if you already have a membership, you can forward it to the next year. And look, we're on the horizon, right? You only have a couple months. You can get all of 2020 for free. All right. Ready, set, and go. What did you say, True?
I said, if you really pay attention, you can hear somebody whooping in the background.
You can, because it's playing in my headphones. All right, thank you guys so much.
I want to add before we go out, and if True could put this in the chat room for all our BPG viewers, there's a 20% discount till the end of January on rrbb-shop.com, and True will put it in the chat room. And that's for everybody.
Congratulations to all the winners.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations to all.
Yes, congratulations to you all.
Will they contact us?
Was that the voice of God?
Actually, we already have their contact information.
Okay, and you can
send it as a part of our praise reports.
Perfect.
Perfect. Well, you guys, this has been quite the show. I have to say it's been quite the show. Most stacked panel we've ever had. Thank you guys for sticking around with us for more than 2 hours this evening, but it was a festive experience. On behalf of the panel of BlackProGen Live, closing out season 5 of the show. You guys have work to do. That means you need to go back and watch all the previous episodes, or maybe episodes you didn't think that you had anything to do with your family history research. Be sure to connect with us on our social channels, all of that stuff. True, you have the floor. What would you like to say?
I'm just so excited for all the winners out there. I just want to thank everybody for coming out on the panel. This was really warmed my heart, and everything that Bernice and Angela and Shannon and Alex and everybody was able to be here. Usually they say 3 words, and I think my 3 words are visionary, persistent, and generous. And that's what you mean to me, Nika, tonight, and everyone. It's been a wonderful 5 years shadowing you, because when you have such a big personality like Nika, that's like lightning bolt, you got to move fast. And it's been a beautiful challenge for me, the mentorship from everyone, because that includes Shelly. She's always there as my DAR sister. Angela, she just takes time, and she's just so patient. And Bernice, she's gave me opportunity to come on her show, and she's just guided me along the way there. And Tony, she's always been that big sister doing Roots Tech, and Ellen. I just can't thank all of you enough. And Tasia, James and Alex and Willie, I miss him. I don't know. It's just been a lot, and I hope I've been a good business partner. But more than that, Lord, just most of all glad that we've been friends through all of this, and that I've been a true friend to you. So I just want to thank everybody out there, and we'll see you in January 2020. We'll see you next year. Love you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
True, Lewis, you ain't gonna get me crying on this video.
Stay strong.
BlackProGen Live. BlackProGen Live. BlackProGen.
Hello, everybody out there.
BlackProGen Live. BlackProGen Live.
The unapologetic Black and people of color viewpoint.
The place where evidence tells the stories.